April 2003, France. An entire family is reported missing. A couple and their 3 children have vanished into thin air. Their 300 SQM chalet is vacant. Swiftly the inquiry shifts to horror. Blood traces are uncovered inside the chalet. They are everywhere, enough to say that the family was massacred. French investigators discover that Xavier, the father, had troubles. He had scammed quite a few people recently. And then, there's this neighbor who watches the investigators and likes to appear on TV. This cleaning lady, who reveals her hatred for the family in front of the camera and shocks public opinion. The Flactif case, in the month of April 2003 and for many months to come, is about to horrify France as the story that will unfold reveals a truly terrifying scenario involving rolling pins, screams, and bonfires amidst the picturesque French mountains, creating a sense of fear and dread that will grip the nation. The Horror Chalet. Our story takes place today in France, more precisely in Grand Bornand, a commune located in Haute-Savoie, Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region, well known for its ski resort, mountain adventures, and rental chalets. The entire municipality site is solely dedicated to mountains. Speaking of chalets, what a transition. It fits well, as the Flactif family, central to our case, has one. Mario, 14, goes there on April 12, 2003. During Easter holidays, the teenager wakes up early, takes a flight from Lille to Lyon, then gets into a taxi to the chalet where his family awaits him, his mother Graciela and stepfather Xavier, and his 3 half-brothers and sisters, namely Sarah, Letitia, and Gregory. Mario gets along well with everyone, as Graciela, his mother, divorced shortly after his birth. So, the teen has always known Xavier, who sees Mario as his own son. He doesn't differentiate, he's truly the cool stepdad, you know. In the taxi to the chalet, Mario never tires of the landscape of Grand Bornand he has known since birth, as Xavier and Graciela have lived there for over 15 years. 14 years now, more precisely in an area called Chinaillon, a small village in the municipality of Grand Bornand. That's where they had the large 300-square-meter chalet built on 4 levels that arouse quite a bit of jealousy, but we'll talk about all that later. When he arrives at the chalet around 10 o'clock, Mario finds himself in front of the entrance. Despite knocking, no one answers him even though his family knows he's coming. Xavier, his stepfather, ordered the taxi. His mother called 2 days ago and bought the plane tickets. It's impossible not to know that he's coming. The teenager goes around the chalet, checks all the doors and shutters, but Mario doesn't understand. However, this morning he showered, he smells good, he's ready, he's happy to arrive here. But why doesn't anyone want to come and open the damn chalet for him? So, with his mobile phone, he calls inside. It rings, but still no one. And the family cars are not there either. Mario also dials his mother's number, his stepfather's. He reaches the voicemail. For 3 hours, the teenager stands in front of the chalet waiting. He has nowhere to go anyway. He tried to reach his grandmother, his aunts, who all told him they had no news from the family. At 1 p.m., Mario leaves a note on the door saying he has arrived safely and decides to go to a local restaurant where he meets Christine, the secretary of the ski school and a very good friend of his mother who of course decides to help him. Mario, he's not a child, he's a teenager, he's 14 years old, but Christine, the family friend, she won't leave him like that. Left to his own devices, he has no money on him, he doesn't have the keys to enter the cabin, so the friend decides to contact the police, who will merely inform him that the family might have gone on a weekend excursion. They inadvertently left behind the teenager. Do not panic, they will definitely return there shortly in the evening, or at the worst Monday morning. First, around 10:30 p.m., Elaine and Patrick, a couple of friends, also decide to go and see what's going on. They saw Mario who says he has no news, so the couple goes to the cottage. They manage to open a door that is already open, while Mario, upon his arrival this morning, had failed to enter. Inside the cottage, the couple of friends realizes that something is wrong. And for a good reason, everything is extremely well organized. They are knowledgeable about the assets and have never seen the chalet so immaculate. On the 300 square meters and multiple floors, there is not a single strand of hair out of place. So, there are indeed some baby teeth embedded in the floor and a gun socket lying under the curtains a little further away, but the couple does not perceive or notice that these items are present in their surroundings. And at that moment, the police still do not want to intervene, so Hélène and Patrick decide to leave the scene. On Sundays, Christine too comes to the cottage with Mario, who is very worried about his family. You can imagine the anxiety anyway. They also manage to enter and go around the completely empty chalet. Everything is clean, well organized, only some duvets are missing in the children's rooms. Christine and Mario leave again without any further answers to their questions. They will come back a few hours later and this time, 2 laptops are turned on. A large file of personal documents is placed on the fireplace and appears to have been searched. During their absences, an individual does indeed arrive and conducts a search of the Flactif family's chalet. Christine places another call to the gendarmerie, who, regretfully for the language used, but have absolutely no interest or concern whatsoever. Another night of anguish for Mario, who is still at his parents' friend's place. On Monday, April 14, 2003, the gendarmes finally show up after a peaceful weekend in the Grand Bornand resort, and they are certain that indeed, the Flactif family has disappeared. The first gendarmes arriving on the scene understand that if the departure was voluntary, it was done in a hurry. The refrigerator is full, food is ready to be cooked on the stove, and the laptops are still in their place. So the searches are finally launched, the family's vehicles are being sought, the lakes are probed, a helicopter looks over the ravines, but nothing stands out. Thierry Bourret, a lieutenant colonel in charge, seeing that nothing is found, calls upon the IRCGN, the Institute of Criminal Research of the National Gendarmerie. They are typically the individuals summoned to airplane crashes or car accidents, for instance, to locate evidence of victims and still place something in the coffin in order to be able to grieve at a grave. They are supported by the criminal identification technicians, nothing to do with the insects that suck your blood. We are talking about the technicians who meticulously comb through the Flactif family's chalet from Thursday, April 17th to Monday, April 24th. It is at this precise moment, 1 week after the disappearance of the Flactif family, that the case plunges into horror. Blood is situated between the floorboards. A 6.35 caliber cartridge, which corresponds to a small pistol, is uncovered, but even more horrifying, milk teeth that belong to one of the children are discovered during the investigation. Assets are embedded in the floor, as if his elongated head on the parquet and open mouth had been struck repeatedly with punches or blows, leaving a lasting impression of violence and impact. Or with assistance from a blunt instrument that had resulted in the loss of his teeth. There are also sections of carpet that have been cut in the bedrooms, and these sections are the same size as a human body. It appears that the killer or killers were unable to clean the carpet properly, so they opted to cut it instead. In the living room, the scientists notice their product, the famous blue star that reveals blood, shines in all directions. The living room of the chalet was the scene of a real massacre. In one corner, liters of blood seem to have been spilled. People must have died here, and in the midst of all this carnage, there is a male DNA, a small DNA that has not been cleaned and has passed between the sponge strokes and the bleach, which does not belong to the Flactif family. But then, everyone inside the chalet is asking one question: where is the mass grave? Where are Flactif family bodies? We have adults, Gradiella and Xavier, and their 3 children, Gregory, Letitia, and Sarah. Xavier's blood is found in the living room. Gregory, on the other hand, was struck by a blunt weapon in the kitchen. Liquid was splattered on the table. As for Sarah, her traces were found on the kitchen table, on some papers, on a chair, as if she had attempted to flee, but had been repeatedly struck by the killer. Gradiella, on the other hand, was struck while climbing stairs to the basement. Surprised, she couldn't act. Letitia, on the other hand, was finished in her upstairs bedroom. She hid under her desk, tried to climb onto her loft bed, but ended up collapsing on the floor, certainly under the blows.